Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and welcome to Small Biz Chat Live. I would love to welcome you tonight. We have a special show. We're going to be talking about money, new money, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all that jazz. And then we're going to pivot and we're going to talk about how you become a rock star entrepreneur. We've got like one of the number one small business experts here, and he's going to talk to us about how he went from rock star to business growth coach extraordinaire. So you guys know how I do. Small Biz Chat is a peer-to-peer interview show. We give small biz owners a way to share and give, learn, invaluable advice, because the mission of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure. Tonight's show is being broadcast on 3 platforms. We're going to be on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and y'all know I can't forget my Twitter peeps. I know Twitter is what made me. So we're so happy to be on Twitter tonight. And on Small Biz Chat Live, our goal is to give our small business audience an opportunity to hear sage advice from multiple angles to help you grow your business and take it to the next level. Because we know the whole goal of running a business is what? To grow a business that can run without you. So tonight's guests are good friend Tonya Marie Evans, Esquire. She is a lawyer, law professor, intellectual property lawyer, and she's one of the top Bitcoin and cryptocurrency experts in the country. So excited to have her here. We also have my guest, Kenny Harper, here. He is an award-winning small business expert. He's a storyteller. He's written 3 books. He's a certified digital marketing advisor, and he's a Harvard Faculty Club mastermind leader. And he's going to be talking to us about growth mindset and what you got to do to become a rock star entrepreneur. So I am so excited to have you guys here, because we know everybody's still struggling. Everybody's trying to figure out their way through this pandemic thing. And as long as it's going on, I'm going to bring people here for you that are going to help you figure out how to pivot the right way to either start a new business, reinvent your business, or get out of your business. Whatever you need to do, I'm going to have it here for you tonight. And with that, I would love to introduce my first guest, Tonya Marie Evans. And she's going to, I've known her so long, I know her middle name, right? So that's how long she's been my friend. But she's an intellectual property lawyer, and she recently joined the Penn State Dickinson Law faculty to continue her work in blockchain and cryptocurrency, data technology, and entertainment law, and social justice. She also owns Advantage Evans Academy, which teaches students how to leverage cryptocurrency, and she's the host of Tech Intersect Podcast. So for more information about her, head over to advantageevans.com. Tonya, I'm so happy to finally have you on Small Biz Chat Live. I think I've only been trying to schedule it for 6 months. Lady, you're busy. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm second only to you in busy, but always blessed. It has been a heck of a year. This year is the longest decade of my life, but I knew that it was not a matter of if, but when, and I'm thrilled to be here with you tonight.
Oh gosh, well, I want you to help all of us understand, because people have been talking about Bitcoin, people have been talking about cryptocurrency and how much money's being made and how all these people of color don't know about it. So it's one more thing we're gonna miss out on. I listen, I want you to break it down for me like I am in 6th grade. Okay. I want you to help us understand, what is Bitcoin?
Well, it's interesting that in your intro, you use the term peer-to-peer. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to get into this by starting with Bitcoin as being, it's a digital type of currency. It's not issued by a government, but instead it's something that is a peer-to-peer exchange. It's really removing the industry in between my ability to transact with you, wherever you are in the world. And so the ability to quickly, seamlessly, and really cheaply, quite frankly, Bitcoin is the OG in the space. There technically were types of digital cash that came before Bitcoin. Bitcoin was, long story short, invented or released. It's software that was released in 2009. We actually don't know the individual or group. It's shrouded in secrecy, but we call this person or group Satoshi Nakamoto. that released this software. But the software is what drives Bitcoin and other types of cryptocurrencies. I know we're going to get into all of that, but at the end of the day, it's peer-to-peer digital cash.
All right, I like that. That's something I can understand. Peer-to-peer digital cash. All right. Now, so tell me, if Bitcoin is the software, then what is cryptocurrency? Is that just a different type of software, or is that like the actual currency that's used through the Bitcoin software?
So let's break it up a bit. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and we're distinguishing between Bitcoin and the over 7,400 different types of cryptocurrency, and blockchain, which is the technology that organizes the transaction. So let me break it down this way. Bitcoin, again, was the OG. It's the first type of cryptocurrency. And every cryptocurrency is attached to this software database known as a blockchain. There are thousands of blockchains and thousands of types of crypto. We hear about Bitcoin so much because actually just before we went live, one Bitcoin is worth 12,000, but not every cryptocurrency performs in that way. But we focus on it, obviously, because it's so volatile, because it is the only to go up to 20,000 and then fall all the way back below 10,000. It's very volatile, and that's why people think that it's so risky, and it is. And I should always, the lawyer in me, start by saying, we're just talking tonight. This is for educational purposes, so there's no legal or financial advice. I'm not shilling any coins, but I'm empowering people to really understand the difference. So final point, compare Bitcoin, let's say it this way, Bitcoin is to blockchain as email is to the internet. Electronic mail was the first use case for the internet. But think of everything that we do with the internet now, not the least of which is this amazing show and working remotely. It's changed the very nature of the way we entertain, the way we work, the way we travel. Everything that we do is transformed. And we could not have imagined at that moment when we just wanted to send an electronic mail that got there quickly, peer-to-peer oftentimes, and didn't have to go through the post office in order to be delivered. So it's a rough analogy, but an analogy nonetheless, that blockchain is the infrastructure, the database that organizes the transactions. The transaction of value is the cryptocurrency.
I see. So you just confused me. Like you had me and then you lost me. So, okay. So Bitcoin is the software.
Well,
Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the software protocol that is blockchain is different than the software that is the cryptocurrency. So there are many different types of cryptocurrency, all devoted to a particular blockchain. And let's take a step to the side for blockchain. Blockchain is a database. When you think about the 2.0 version of databases, you are thinking about the information that is siloed. It is something that is controlled by an individual, a group, an organization, a business. Oftentimes that data, we're living in a world of big data, so it's proprietary. And people use it for a competitive advantage, don't exactly want to share. But the minute the lights go out at Google or Yahoo or Amazon, so too goes all of that siloed information. The concern when Bitcoin was created is to find a way to transact without big banks. If you'll remember, back in 2008, 2009, finances weren't going so well. And it came out at a time to say, we can't trust these intermediaries. We have to find another way to transact. We want to decentralize the means and the method by which these, the data, the transactions, the transactional data, I should say, the way that is kept. We don't want a bank to keep it. We don't, says Satoshi and those who released it. I'm just explaining the details. But instead, we can't trust them. We can trust the code. We can trust the code that is a set of rules that say either Tonya has one Bitcoin or she doesn't. I can't say that I have one Bitcoin and send it to you and then also send it to Fred. In the same way, back in the day, somebody would write a check for $100 and another check for $100, but only have $100. That's what we call the double spend problem. But blockchains, to distinguish from the crypto, because it's all software, so it's not enough to just say the software per se, but it's two different functions. So blockchains are the transactional ledger. You'll hear the term ledger a lot. It's the means of saying, Tonya sent one Bitcoin to Melinda. that transaction is recorded. And then Melinda sends it to Charlie and Charlie sends it to Davis. That information about the transactions is what is recorded to the ledger. The ledger is the blockchain that is maintaining the transactional data about the Bitcoin that is being sent.
Got it. Okay. So is this stuff just for rich people? Like, can poor people get involved in this? I mean, like, how much does it cost to start trading Bitcoin? I mean, really?
So Bitcoin goes all the way. The short answer is Bitcoin can be split into a very, very small unit, also known as the Satoshi, and it's 8 decimal points out. So I often compare and contrast holding crypto to stocks, for example, where it's all or nothing for a stock unless you have a mutual fund or other ways. And then there are interesting products that people can start to participate. For the most part, it's a stock or no stock. On the Bitcoin side, you do not have to have $12,000 to get into the Bitcoin game or any other type of cryptocurrency. You can buy a fraction of that and participate in that way. And in fact, crypto, at least at its origin, is really the antithesis of money that's quote unquote just for rich people. It's actually known as the people's money because we're removing the intermediaries that stand between me and you.
Interesting. So before you get any Bitcoin though, don't you have to have a place to store your Bitcoin?
So you're referring to wallets, and that could be its own show, but the short answer is yes. But also keep in mind, because this is purely digital, wallet is a bit of a misnomer, but we're using the language of the 20th century to explain how the means of storing. But what is actually being stored is your ability to control, to buy, to send, to receive. So what's being stored is actually what we call a private key. Each wallet is managing a public address and a private address. So that basically means if I want to send you a Bitcoin, you tell me your public address. And then I can send you in the same way I could send you mail, Bitcoin to your public address. What I never have and what you would never share is your private key. The private key is like the key that I need to unlock my mailbox.
Got it.
And it's the private key that is managed in wallets. There are a lot of different types of wallets. Some are always connected to the internet and they are a little less safe. We call those hot wallets or hot storage. Some are not connected to the internet unless you connect them, and those are cold storage wallets. So there are a lot of different types. Some people even write down their private key on a piece of paper, and they call it a paper wallet. But yes, you're really maintaining your private key because that is the access to send, to receive, and to confirm transactions.
Got it. So now, what industries will the blockchain technology impact the most? And where are the opportunities, like for small businesses or people looking for an innovative opportunity?
Well, it's interesting. One of the best and easiest to explain is the supply chain. And there's so many commercials. IBM is bombarding us with commercials constantly that basically say, moving something from Africa, from a country in Africa to the United States, a lot of people have to touch that. It has to change a lot of hands. And those people along that supply chain don't know each other. Therefore, they've not established trust in each other. But what they can say is that when that diamond was mined and it moved to this location and then this location, each time that it's moved, that information can be recorded to the ledger, a blockchain that all would have access to in order to see that. And you can verify provenance and the authenticity of auto parts, diamonds, fine art. So any business that would benefit from a central point of truth that everyone who does not know each other and therefore cannot trust each other necessarily can rely on. And that's very, very powerful, particularly when you think of a global economy. Other areas, decentralized file storage, because I'm an intellectual property lawyer, I love the digital rights management. That's another database where we really want to empower authors and artists. And so having that central, decentralized environment is beneficial. The Internet of Things is a major one, managing smart devices in a number of ways and in a decentralized format so that if you buy one device that is not made from the same manufacturer, they actually can communicate with each other. And so that's a really interesting area as well.
Awesome. Well, say that when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm Melinda Emerson. You're watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. I know you might be thinking about quitting your business and going back into corporate America, but wait, before you give up, my new book, Fix Your Business, could give you a whole new lease on life. My 12 P's of running a successful business will walk you through step by step how to grow your business revenue, how to hire great people and streamline your processes, and so much more. Grab a copy today of Fix Your Business and get your life back.
Welcome back. You're watching Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. We're talking with Tonya Evans, Esquire. She is breaking it down for us about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If you always were wondering what the heck is that, I am breaking it down for you tonight with one of the top experts in the nation, who also happens to have been my friend for the past 20 years. Tonya, so tell me, you've explained to me all the things we can do with Bitcoin. Okay, I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to plunk my $500 down and try this thing. What do I go? What website do I go to? Like, how do I go buy me some cryptocurrency? How do I do it?
So we call that process onboarding, going from government issued currency, also known as fiat, to crypto. So that fiat to crypto, or how do you buy, is a really important question. And a number of notable movers and legacy movers in the space are making it even easier. Literally today or yesterday, PayPal just announced that they are going to provide a cryptocurrency option, not just for Bitcoin, but for other currencies. You can also go to, if you already have Cash App, there is a Bitcoin option there. Some Visa, MasterCard, they're all getting in the game. If you want to look at other opportunities that we in the crypto community would use more often, I'm thinking about Gemini and eToro. There are platforms where you can go to make your first fiat to crypto purchase, and that is kind of the gateway into the crypto world in many respects. Oftentimes people start by buying Bitcoin or Ethereum. Ether is another type, and its market dominance is just under Bitcoin. Ripple is another one. So do your own research about what is in your best interest. But oftentimes when people want to trade one crypto for another, they're going to need to use some of the ones in the top 5 in order to make a clean transfer. And that's Bitcoin, Ether, Ripple, Bcash. I recommend that your viewers go to coinmarketcap.com. It is a completely free service, and it lists the 7,000 plus coins. And you can have click through, you can learn about the price action over time and the way to buy, what exchanges offer it.
Good stuff, good stuff. All right, so I go and get my $500 worth of Bitcoin. What can I buy with that? Where do I go? Am I going to Macy's with that? I mean, where am I going to what am I, where am I buying with that?
It's such a great question, and every day, the short answer is more and more companies have realized that they are losing the business advantage if they are not going to provide crypto as another alternative. And this is an area where smart businesses can be very savvy and get ahead of the game as well, with very safe platforms like BitPay. The other Flexa is another one that gives you merchant options where you can add that in addition to offering MasterCard, Visa, Discover. Think of all of the options that we see when we are cashing out. To your original question about where, more and more merchants are also accepting it, as long as companies like BitPay and Flexa make it easy for them, where most people don't even, like in the best case scenario, consumers won't know and merchants won't know. There would just be that mechanism underneath that makes it better, faster, and cheaper to transact business. But best believe Amazons of the world, overstock.com, there's a portal called lolli.com. I'm not sponsored, I'm just trying to help people tonight. LOLLI.com. The people who founded Lolli, they used to be in e-commerce and, like cashback. Now what you can do is use regular dollars and receive Bitcoin back. It's a passive way of starting to earn while you shop. So to Macy, like all of the big ones, you'd be surprised, there are hundreds of them. And so places where you shop online. We're all shopping online right now. Why not earn a little Bitcoin back in the process?
Why not earn a little bit of Bitcoin back in the process? I love it. All right. So now that I know where I've got know where to buy it. I know where I can buy with it. What are some Bitcoin best practices for beginners? You already gave us that website. What was that website you said to go figure out which currency you wanted to purchase?
Coinmarketcap.com.
Coinmarketcap.com. Okay, great. Now, what else do I need to know before I get out here? Because it does seem like it's a little bit like double dutch, like you can mess around and get hurt. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you can get messed up. So tell me what beginners need to know before they, jump out here and think they're going to be switching currency like that.
Yes, there's so many people who come to me after the fact that said, yeah, I saw it on Cash App and I bought it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what it is, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. Resist the urge to do that. This is not going anywhere. And you want to kind of pump the brakes and find reliable sources. I have a number of free masterclasses where people can come to a Crypto 101 and get the details. There are a lot of really wonderful providers of education in the space. I'm happy to, if you go to advantageevans.com, I have a list of information where people can go. I have more formal courses for people who are really, really getting serious, but it doesn't take that level of commitment when you're really trying to figure out, is this something that I want to do? I want people to be empowered to understand. And the education platform is all about making sure that people get in safely, legally, and confidently, particularly in Black and Brown communities and women. Women that's the number one demo of people getting into the space. The numbers from Q1, I haven't seen the Q2 numbers, but really, really spectacular, because we're starting to figure out what other assets do I need in my life, not just for this generation, but to create generational wealth. Because it is true what you said in the beginning, Black and Brown communities, traditionally underestimated communities, largely missed out on the dot-com boom. This is Web 3.0. That was 2.0. We are on the precipice of something really amazing. It's not, Bitcoin and blockchain is not for everything, but you want to at least have a conversation. And so that's why I'm so excited about it. We have a unique opportunity to connect in a way that we don't need to have gatekeepers tell us it's okay to participate. We are the people, we can take control and we can find our way. There's a lane for everyone in the space. And so that's why I'm so excited about it.
All right, so I hear you, but I run a small business. So how soon is it going to be before one of my customers comes to me trying to pay me with crypto? Like, do I need to be concerned about this as a business owner? And what do I need to have in place to accept cryptocurrency as payment?
Yes, so BitPay and Flexa are the most prominent in the space to easily and quickly for a merchant to get up and get plugged in. So there would be very little in terms of the educational process, because those types of businesses have done it for you. Oftentimes when a small business in particular is making a decision about which payments to accept, it's the bottom line. How much is this going to cost me? And if I have to pass that cost on to my consumers, my customers, my clients, is it worth it? But I make the proposition to argue that it is. When you think about the charges from MasterCard, generally charges like 1.5 to 2.6% for each transaction.
I think it's actually 2.9 is what I've seen.
And American Express is from 2.5 to 3.5, and these are averages, right? Discover, but a fraction of a percentage is what you would pay when you're accepting crypto. And so the business proposition of not doing it means you don't want to compete.
Got it. All right, last question. How important do you think it's going to be in the future? Like, how soon is it going to be before it is the main way people are transacting business? How many years you think?
Well, right now, only 6.2% of Americans hold Bitcoin. I don't know about the other crypto, but so I focus most of my time. If people are going beyond, if people are adopting Bitcoin, then the others will follow, because a rising tide. But it's not a matter of years. The business proposition for Bitcoin and blockchain technology is like yesterday, in the sense of, and I say that because although we are very, very early, when you see legacy institutions getting in, the business proposition has already been made. They've known about this for years. Bitcoin, as I told you, has been around since 2009. The fact that Visa and MasterCard and PayPal and Venmo, it's funny to call Venmo and PayPal and Cash App legacy, but they're like neo-legacy.
Right. How long? It hadn't been 5 years, has it? They've been around. I mean, that's crazy.
Right. Unbelievable. So the business proposition is already made. Congress is talking about the digital dollar. They were talking about it they tried, Congresswoman Waters in the House Financial Services Committee worked very hard to try and get the digital dollar into the original CARES Act. It was ultimately taken out. I'll leave it to you all to figure out how that happened. But that would have gotten money to people so fast and so quickly. So if Congress is talking about, it's too late already. So that was the start there. But there's so many, even the government central banks are talking about a central bank digital currency. China has already established theirs. The United States is talking about it. It's not a matter of if, but when. So if you want to stay on the leading edge of this, then the time is now to begin the process. And I'm excited about the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, listen, I really have enjoyed learning about this, but I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to talk to my next guest. And when we come back at the end of the show, I'm going to talk to both of you guys about some cool stuff. So hang tight. Thank you so much. And when we come back on Small Biz Chat, we're going to be talking about business growth strategies. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. You're watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we will be right back.
My new book, Fix Your Business, is really about encouraging people to take back control of their business and change how their businesses is run. It's not okay to skip paychecks. It's not okay to never feel like you can take a vacation. And it's also not okay to not know how much profit you've made in your business until your taxes are done. I really want business owners to stop letting their businesses be runaway trains. I've written this book to teach people processes and systems to help them run their businesses intentionally. My goal is to help existing entrepreneurs create a business that allows them to live their dream life.
Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. We are now going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about business growth strategies. My next guest is Kenny Harper. He's an award-winning international speaker, storyteller, certified digital marketer, and he is an advisor to the Harvard Faculty Club Mastermind. He's written 3 books. He also has a podcast. But the cool thing about Kenny is he started as a rock star. He went from being a musician, and then he realized he had talent, but he didn't know how to run a business. So he became a devoted student of business growth strategies. And now he's an accomplished business coach on a mission to inspire and empower those with the right attitude, expertise, and drive to amplify their business, because his mission is to connect with other rock star professionals who are devoted to growth and empowering others. Kenny, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you do. And thank you for the energy that you're shining out to this world and amplifying others out there that have the spark to grow. It's really, really great to see someone shine and connect people like you're doing. So thank you for your efforts.
Oh gosh, I appreciate that. Tell me your story. Like, how did you go from full-time musician to business growth coach? Like, how does one do that?
I was 14 years old. My cousin took me to an amazing rock show. It just inspired me. I found my first muse, right? Playing music. And so I learned how to play the guitar, learned how to play the bass. I was playing in bands. And that was my first real passion. But I ran into a challenge. Have you ever known somebody that has really good talent, but they don't know the business side?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Right?
People know how to bake great cakes. They just don't know how to charge for them. No, all day.
All the time.
Yes.
You get bit by the entrepreneurial bug, and you just start going out there and just following your dream. And they tell you that just, follow your dream and the money will follow. That's a partial truth. There's a reason why there's so many starving artists.
It's not even true. Kenny, listen, you have to plan for success. Success will not just happen to you. It's not going to fall. Manna from heaven doesn't really happen. So you have to plan for it. So I don't even know why people say that. I also know why people say fake it till you make it too. It's like, no, that's not true either. So stop doing that, people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I interrupted you.
That's you were interjecting awesome, right? And that's the case. We have people that they really are passionate about what they do. They connect. They feel like they found their true purpose. But if they don't learn the business side, they're going to run into a wall, and they're not going to be able to pass it. And that's what happened with my first passion, is I ran into a wall. I was playing some shows. I was recording some music, and it was some good stuff. I actually met my wife, who'd been married for 12 years now. I have 2 wonderful boys, by playing music. So something good came out of it, but it didn't have the business side. I didn't know anything about how to really leverage and create a business out of playing music. And so I knew I was naturally creative, and so I had to reinvent myself. So I went to school for marketing and learned that I could help other people market their business and get the word out and really help them grow their business by leveraging different skill sets. Now, I started that path and playing music. We need our own flyers, our own websites, our own promotional materials. And so then I became the student and just really said, I'm going to eat this. I'm going to really absorb it. And I want to just get the best that I possibly can to help prevent people from running into that wall.
All right. So this pandemic has been devastating, right? Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give a business owner that's still like they're hanging by a thread? They're like they're praying every day for another stimulus package to come, which might not come. What advice would you give them?
So it kind of depends on which boat you're in, right? So some businesses this year, they've had really great years. It's been an amplified year. It's actually been a record year for me and my business. So some of us have fared very well, depending on our industry. Others they've been impacted. And these people have the opportunity to pivot, but they need to really take a step back and create a strategy, create a plan, like you're saying just a moment ago. And the way I like doing that is looking at the 5 profit drivers in a business and then calculating success. 5 profit drivers in a business. We're looking at lead generation, average sales conversion, average number of transactions, average price per transaction, and the profit margin. And by calculating success, sometimes you can actually work less and make more because you're focused on driving the numbers where it counts. And so we've helped some businesses who actually took a hit, re-strategize, and if not just break even, actually even make an improvement because they calculated success. All right. And then the final, there are some that just, they had to close doors. They're having real massive impacts. So if like the speaking industry, right, that's now reinvention. You have to adapt and find a strategy that's can keep you alive, but it pivots. It's a pivoting strategy. So different answers, different solutions, depending on where you're at in this journey together. But everyone has the opportunity, if they take a step back, humble themselves, and are willing and have the right attitude and commitment to take new actions to achieve new results.
I love it. All right. So you yourself have been winning through this pandemic. Tell me about some of your clients that have been winning in this season. Because I definitely know a couple of businesses that are telling me this year is going to be their best year. But most business owners that I know can't wait for 2021. So I want you to tell me about people who you've seen win, how did they do it?
Okay. So I'll give you a few examples. I'll tell you, come March, my business took a little hit because all the clients that I worked with were rocky. Some had to shut their doors for a while. And so I myself followed my own advice, took a step back, looked at where we were going, and had to repivot to change the strategy to be able to change the trajectory of where we're going. So some of the other businesses that have succeeded in this realm are the ones that have not been impacted as much. CPAs, financial advisors, people that work with a lot of other businesses that have a broad base of customers, and their services are still needed. Others have been impacted a little bit more. We work with a granite countertop installation, and
they're booming, right? Because all these home projects, those people, like I I have a client also that has a commercial cleaning business. And I talked to him about a month ago, and he said, Melinda, if I could find 100 more employees, I'd hire them all. And I was like, wow. He was like, that's how many calls we're getting from, because they do corporate industrial cleaning. And now everybody's freaked out about people coming back to the office and all this stuff. And they can't train people fast enough and get them out there. So I definitely know there's people winning. I was just really curious about, what you were saying, but definitely home repairs folks are definitely
some, yeah. And we saw like a market with like med spas who had the challenge of having to shut their doors. But they got creative with their promotions and tried to find where they could win and reach out to maybe some of the services that were maybe not their typical top services, but they can look and say, well, what can we do? Could we start? Maybe we haven't really given our e-commerce a lot of focus in the past because we want people to come in, but if they can't come in, maybe we focus on our e-commerce, right? So what are some things that we could refer out to other people and maybe win some credibility that way as well? I've seen some people taking their shops and making it mobile, taking their show on the road and say, this isn't the way we'd always do it, but because we're willing to adapt, we're willing to get a different level of, or we're earning a different level of business than we would if we just continued to do what we had always done in a completely different world.
Right. So how has those differentiated businesses, been able to turn the corner? Like, I feel like it was people who really knew what their secret sauce was or like what their value proposition is. Those were the people who really have been able to win. Because what I find is that the more specialized you are, the better you are right now, versus being a Me Too business, being just a graphic designer, or let's say you're purchasing pocketbooks and reselling them on Amazon. Well, like anybody can do that. So I feel like the people who have been strategic enough to have some value in their business that is not easily duplicatable by their competitors, those are the people that are still winning. Is that also what you've seen?
Yes. So to be able to say, number one, I'm going to have a strategy that attracts prospects and seamlessly and subtly guides them to become customers that pay, stay, and refer. Because you could document that. I'm going to hold up a little guide. This is the customer value journey, which is all about the steps to document through the different stages of the relationship in business. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting is a lot of this happens organically because all relationships are through business. It's a business relationship. But when you can be focused and create a strategy that guides people through the different stages and you do it consistently, then you can really start measuring what's working, what's not, and track the success at each stage and optimize that for the best results. So when you have that strategy in place and combining with what you mentioned a moment ago, Melinda, about differentiating it and say, this isn't an apples to apples comparison. We've now created magical, delicious oranges, and it's a completely different offer. It's no longer perceived as a commodity. You can't compete on price. This is the only place that you'll get this. Those two things together are what we've seen as the winning ticket.
Well, what kind of growth strategies are you suggesting to some of your clients looking now to 2021? Because as far as I'm concerned, fourth quarter is almost a wash already. I mean, we're almost at Thanksgiving like now. So what about 2021 in terms of how you've been advising people to sort of like think and maybe right size their business? I've seen a whole lot of people who've been in the game a long time retire, hang it up, trying to sell businesses. I see a lot of that going on as well. What kinds of strategies are you suggesting to your clients?
Find a way to really, like you were saying before, differentiate. And one way you could think about doing that is, how can you provide more value? How can you provide more value and add it to your offer? I saw a lady that she was doing wellness, selling wellness packages, and she was having a bit of a challenged year. I said, well, let's look at your numbers. Let's calculate success. Let's look at those 5 profit drivers. And so we were looking at what she was doing, and she was starting to drop her prices to compete. I said, that's not a winning strategy. You don't want to do that. He said, anytime you're dropping your prices, you're cutting your profits right there. She's like, well, I want to win the business. I said, at what cost?
Right. Not if it doesn't make any money, you don't want to win it, right?
You're going to be working harder to make less. And what's really insidious about this is sometimes even a small price cut can cut your profits in half, or just cut them out completely. If you don't know your profit margins and you don't really know those important profit drivers, you can cause yourself a lot of challenges. So what we said is, let's look at your offer. Let's stack the value of what you could put in there. And we elevated the offered value and ticket. And so we calculated success by looking at the numbers and said, well, if you changed your offer to this new amount, you would basically need to sell a third of your sales and you would make the same money. So rather than working harder, we're working smarter. And she said, well, I don't know if people would pay that. I said, look, there's people out there spending hundreds of dollars for a pair of jeans. There's people spending hundreds of dollars for pens. What you put out there and stack the value to, there's a market for it. And sometimes you got to test it. You got to make sure that you're getting the right offer to the right market. But you won't know unless you try. But with what you're doing in your business, I think there's opportunity. Long story short, she said, I'm going to give a shot. She gave it a shot. She's been selling at the new offer price. She's already dramatically increased the revenue in her business, and she's completely found new confidence.
I love it. I love it. All right. So selling online has become everything in this pandemic. How can a small business stand out online when selling primarily from their website or when selling from Amazon?
All right. So the strategy that I like kind of goes back to the little diagram that I held up earlier. Is number one, you got to do something that turns a look into a stare. So have a little bit of personality, do something that's interesting. This is the value journey guide that I was showing earlier. And in there we have the awareness stage.
All right, I need you to get back on your microphone, Kenny. I can't.
Oh, I jumped right off my microphone. We have the awareness stage. People got to know you're there. And then you want to turn a look into a stare by getting them to engage, having something of value, some sort of entertainment. And then this is the subscribe stage, putting something that gets people to raise their hand and say that they're interested, so you can capture their information and follow the conversation. A lot of times people try to jump stages and they go from awareness all the way to try to make a sale. And just like in a relationship, if you meet someone and you try to make a sale right off the bat, what tends to happen?
That doesn't work out.
It didn't work out. So why are people trying to do that too quick? Whether they're on social media, they're promoting something, they want to push a sale, or they're putting out an ad and they're trying to just push people to a sale. You got to think about building some sort of awareness and guiding people through the different stages of the relationship.
Right. So it's basically you're nurturing the relationship. And what I find amazing is how many times I see people break these rules, right? You connect to me on LinkedIn and then 2 seconds later, you're sending me your pitch about why it is you wanted to talk to me. And I'm like, you made me go find how you disconnect from somebody on LinkedIn. But I think that it's really just about the culture of social in the first place, right? I've taught for years the 6 C's of social, right? So like first have to connect, and then you have to communicate. And what are you communicating with? Content. And how often do you have to do it? Consistently, right? And once you do it consistently, you become a member of the community. And once you become a trusted member of the community, then and only then can you turn that relationship into commerce, right?
Right.
But people try to go from connect to commerce. It's amazing. All you got to do is be nice to me. You might could get to commerce, but you ain't going to get to commerce the day I meet you.
That's the extremes, right? On one end, you got people trying to jump stage and be like, hi, nice to meet you. Let me massage your shoulders. What are you doing?
Why are you touching me?
Why are you touching me? And then the other part, which is probably has its own challenges, is having no way to move bust the move, to move the relationship forward, which was me in high school. And I'm just getting the guy just staring at the girl. Is she going to do something? I'm blinking at her. Luckily, I learned how to play the guitar and things worked out for me. So
total chick magnet, huh?
Yeah, I didn't quite have the social skills as a young lad. I just was, would meet people through circumstance, which is where a lot of people are looking to gain business through referrals. But if you're proactive and you know who you want to connect with, and you remember it's about building relationships, that's how you can really move things forward succinctly.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Kenny, for breaking all of that down. But please don't go anywhere, because what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring back Miss Tonya, and we are going to do what I call my hit it or quit it panel. So here,
oh my gosh,
here are the rules for the panel. All right, I'm going to ask you guys the same question. You have to give me your answer in 30 seconds or less, and you cannot repeat somebody else's answer.
All right.
All right, so you got it. So this is a Twitter panel. So we're gonna be quick about it, all right?
All right.
Okay, so Tanya, since you've been waiting, we're gonna go to you first. And then what we're going to do is alternate between the two of you. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Got it.
All right, so Tanya, what is your favorite podcast?
Most recently is Lovecraft Country, because I'm obsessed with the show, and it gave me all the tea about the show and helped me see all the Easter eggs and make all the connections. And I felt like I was at a dining room table, sipping my wine, saying, and then what happened?
All right. Kenny, what is your favorite podcast?
Well, I would have to be that guy. And it's actually my podcast, Growth Amplifiers.
Nice.
And the reason I would say it's my favorite is because it's really given me an opportunity to meet a lot of people and build relationships that probably wouldn't have had any chance of ever being created without getting the time to connect with someone, hear their story, and really bond with someone on a deeper level. You're getting past superficial. You're getting to know a little bit about their backstory. And that going through that effort of creating that and connecting with those people has been really meaningful. And especially in this year has really helped fill that void of connection.
I agree. All right, now new question. Tonya, what is your favorite business app?
Oh, Calendly. Calendly cures a month of sins of misconnection and the ability for people to just reschedule on their own and the full integration of it. So it's been a lifesaver. So Calendly is definitely my go-to app.
All right, all right. What about you, Kenny? What's your favorite app?
I would have to say my app is my favorite. Just kidding.
I know. It's like,
I love myself. It's all about me. It's all about no, actually actually like the one that's popping in my head right now is Boomerang. It's an extension in email, and it's really nice to say, hey, remind me to follow up with this person at this time. Follow up in a couple of days. Send this at this particular time. Really handy. Email, used to say, you've got mail. And you're like, oh. Now you're like, oh my God, death by email. Ugh.
Exactly.
Boomerang.
So let me tell you another app that does it for you automatically.
Okay.
So my favorite app is called Mixmax, Mixmax, and it's a marketing automation app that sits on top of G Suite. And so if you use Gmail, it is amazing. So it has the functionality of Calendarly and Boomerang all in one app, but it has
what?
A lot more stuff.
I love language.
A lot more stuff. It's really cool. So what I can do is I can send somebody a Zoom invite. I can send it to 2 or 3 people, one email, boom. All you have to do is click on it. It goes on your calendar, it goes on my calendar. What I also like about it is, let's say I send out a bunch of emails to people. It'll tell me the best time of day to send an email to that person the next time I send it to them. So when they'll actually open it. It automatically reminds me, like if somebody sent me an email 3 days ago and I didn't respond to it, it'll pop it back up to the top of my thing. Hey, you never took care of it. You never responded to this person. So it helps. It's like the assistant without having the assistant, like all up in your email. And if you're somebody like I have, obviously a Melinda Emerson is my email, but SmallBizLady@gmail is my other email that all that stuff gets forwarded to. So it's like, dude, I get hundreds of emails a day. So it's really helpful for me to kind of manage my calendar, manage follow-ups. And then if I'm really sending out a big batch of emails, it gives me intelligence about how to do that. And it's really, really super cool. And so I like it because I like G Suite, so I like it. But that is my favorite app. So that's my public service announcement for that. I'm coming back to you, Kenny, for this one. What is your favorite old school marketing tip?
Old school. Direct mail. Bam. Direct mail.
Yeah.
Actually sending people something in the mail. We got so many things, people jumping online, and quite frankly, online has gotten very noisy. And if you look at your mailbox, once upon a time, the mailbox was full of just a whole bunch of junk and stuff just coming in. But I don't know about your mailboxes, but my mailboxes look leaner these days. And so sending something to somebody in the mail, and I'm not just saying a postcard. I personally like sending books or a magazine or something of value. But getting something in someone's hands, if you really want to get their attention, can be a game changer. But again, we build relationships. We get people to take the next step, not trying to sell them right out the gate. Right. So that's old school direct mail. Really, really powerful to get people into action.
I love it. I love it. Tonya, what is your favorite old school marketing tip?
Actually, just jumping on the phone. Whoop. I'm so weary of Zoom. If there's not a reason that we need to be face to face, or if I think of, would this be someone I would actually invite into my house? If so, why are they in my house? Just hopping on the call. And I have learned so much. That is how, when I crafted my my new course, and it really was a way to test out to see who outside of the crypto community would even be interested, and hopping on conversations, because at first it was just exploration. But at the end of the call, when people said, now about what you said, I'd actually like to know more about that, or here are the questions, I was able to craft out the modules and the lessons that were specific to who the audience was. And I had no idea who my perfect audience was, because what I was creating was for a completely different audience that probably wouldn't have shown up. So it was only on the call. And this is a really difficult subject matter. So hearing me and speaking to me and hearing their questions and being able to answer in real time, that's been a game changer for me. So definitely old school phone. Let's have a conversation.
All right. Yeah, magic does happen over the phone. I'm a firm believer in that. And I too like mail, but I like handwritten notes, Kenny. I like a follow-up handwritten note. Thank you for spending time with me. Enjoyed you. Love you, mean it. Whatever. You know what I mean? I just think people don't throw away handwritten notes because very few people get them. So think about that. Cards and notes are valuable. All right. Last question, you guys. And I'm going to come to Tonya first because I came to you last time, Kenny. What is your favorite business book? Favorite business book?
Oh, boy. So I'm trying to remember back to the summer when I was reading something not related to law or to blockchain, because I want to think outside. I am an entrepreneur at heart. Minda Hart's book, The Memo, helped me move on jobs. And so it was like, I felt like it was a love letter to me specifically, at being at a high level and trying to transition to really go back to the origin of who I am. And I also read It's About Damn Time by Arlen, and have participated on some of her courses online, and really just take off my lawyer cap and my know-it-all cap and really, learn from other people. And it energized me. And that's what really led me to go back into entrepreneurship in a more substantial way.
I love it. I love it. All right, Kenny, what is your favorite business book?
Now, I'm going to choose one that maybe hasn't been heard of as much. It's a book called Unstoppable.
Love that cover. Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
This is Unstoppable by Dave Anderson, transforming your mindset to create change, accelerate results. And why I really like this book is he talks about, building your life philosophy and really paving and crafting that. And I really hadn't seen it done the way that he's illustrated it. He talks about the 4 different types of performers, and really getting into the unstoppable mindset. And I run into a lot of people, and sometimes it's not the tools or the systems that people need upgraded. Sometimes it's the mindset they need to fuel the tools and the systems. Because if you don't believe it can happen, you're going to be challenged. But if you have the right attitude, expertise, and drive, you can become unstoppable.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I'm going to share with you my favorite book too. So this is a new one. So for years, I've been saying that E-Myth Revisited was my absolutely favorite business book. But this is my new favorite business book. It's this book called Disrupt You by the gentleman named Jay Samit. And not only did I read this book, but I listened to it on Audible. And hearing him talk this book, I had to call him up. I called him up and said, Jay, I love this book. I got to have you in my new course. And he was like, I'll do it Monday or Friday, what day you want. I mean, he was awesome. And so what I love about this book, that he said, everyone talks about wanting to disrupt the world. He said, how about you start by disrupting yourself? Boom, firecrackers, confetti. I loved this book. And so I'm his new #1 fan. So I'm going to talk about this book to everybody I know. I mean, I have been buying them and giving them to young people, who kind of can't figure out which way they're going to go yet. I'm like, read this. And then call me afterwards. So that's my new favorite book. Well, listen, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me on Small Biz Chat Live. You guys know how we do. The whole goal of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure. Thank you so much to my guest, Tonya Evans, professor at Penn State Dickinson School of Law. Thank you so much, Kenny Harper, award-winning international speaker, storyteller, certified digital marketer, and all-around awesome dude. Thank you so much, Kenny, for being here. And I know that if you guys want more information about my guests, be sure to check out my blog, succeedasyourownboss.com, to get more information about them. Thank you all for watching tonight. And the mission of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. Until next time, remember, you never lose in business. Either you win or you learn. Good night, everybody.